Hi everyone, it's Kim from Course Workbooks. How are we today? So we're going to be taking a look at finding slope algebraically. Now we said before that slope could be thought of as rise over run. So rise is really the difference in the y values, and the run is the difference in the x values. Difference meaning subtraction. So keeping that in mind, all right, so we have m, right? The slope is rise over our run. Now, if we take 2 points and we label them as x sub 1, y sub 1, and x sub 2, y sub 2, that just means first x, first y, second x, second y. We can write that formula, that slope formula, as y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So difference in y's over difference in x's. Okay, I just want to make a point here, and you may see it, so that's why I'm going to say it, is that you may see, you maybe even your teacher or in a book, have it as y1 minus y2 over x1 minus x2. This is also correct, okay, because the change in the y's over the change in the x's. You just have to be consistent. If you start with y2, you subtract y1. If you start with x2, subtract x1. You see in the first case. In the second case, y1 minus y2, x1 minus x2. So it's all about consistency. All right, so let's take a look at some examples. And this first one here says, find the slope of the line between each of the following sets of points. Okay, so we're going to get some sets of points and find the slope. Okay, so what some students do is they actually will label. So here, this is x1, y1, x2, y2. Okay, you can write it out on the side if you want to, whatever makes you feel most comfortable. But so then my slope, so y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, which is 3 over 1. And I'm going to leave it like that because, again, we want that movement. Because when we start graphing, we're going to go up and down, left and right. A lot of times if someone just writes it as 3, you want to remember that it is 3 over 1 so that you have that horizontal movement to the right of 1. Okay, so that has a slope of 3. So let's go to the next one. So on this one, again, I always tell students to take a look at the problem before they start, okay, and see if they notice anything about the problem that will maybe help them out, right? Take a little insight into it. In this case, what do we notice? Okay, you notice that the y coordinates are the same. Okay, so when the y coordinates were the same, okay, we learned this in the prior sections, right? That's when we had a horizontal line. The equation would be y equals 5. It would be a horizontal line. Remember we had this with the zero slope. Okay, well, let's see if the slope formula confirms that, and it should, because otherwise this would all be a mystery if it worked sometimes and not others. Okay, so here we go. So y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, 0 over 1, which is 0. Okay, so 0 over any number, except for 0, which is that's for another day, is equal to 0. And that's going to be your horizontal line. Okay, great. Now let's take a look at C. So C, before we start it, which again, sometimes you don't think about doing this, but I always tell students to stop, like look at the problem, right? And again, same directions. Find the slope of the line between each of the following sets of points. Okay, so here's x1, x1, y1, and here's x2, y2. Okay, so, oh, wait a second. The x coordinates are the same. When the x coordinates are the same, what kind of line do I have? I have a vertical line. So it should be x equals 4. A vertical line goes like this. It's parallel to the y-axis, right? This is vertical. And it has no slope. Okay, so let's just, again, we want to check ourselves. So y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Now take a look at what happens here. You get 1 over 0. Okay, this indicates there is no slope. Okay, that indicates there's no slope. When there's a 0 in the denominator of a fraction, the fraction is called undefined. Undefined, okay? And that indicates to us that there is no slope. Okay, so again, this reinforced what we saw before. So I want you to think to yourself, okay, if I use the slope formula and I get a slope of 0, oh, it's a horizontal line, y equals a number. If I use a slope formula and I get a 0 in the denominator, right? Oh, that means it's x equals a number, it's a vertical line, and it has no slope, okay? And again, when a fraction has 0 in the denominator, it's called undefined. Okay, so let's take a look at the model problem here. So what is the slope of the line passing through the points -3, 4, and 1, 2? All right, so here we go. Here's x1, y1. Here's x2, y2. And again, for some students, just not to stop you, but you may want to list them on the side. Like some students will write that x1 is -3, right? x2 is 1, y1 is 4, and y2 is 2. And then they begin their problem that way. They feel like, okay, I'm more organized, if I have it written out like this, which is totally okay. Whatever makes you more comfortable or most comfortable as a learner. Okay, so here we go. So y2 minus y1. So 2 take away 4, 2 minus 4, over 1 take away -3. Note I put that in parentheses, right? So I don't forget those two negatives there. So I get -2 over 4, which is -1/2. Okay, always a good practice to simplify it, because when you're on the graph then, it's easier, particularly if the numbers are very large for the slope. It makes it more viable to draw the graph. So wonderful job. I will see you in the next video. Have a great day.